Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Man, oh man, was this this episode had a lot of emotion in it. Let's get started. So, you pretty much have, left off from yesterday's episode. You pretty much have Christina and Sam just going at each other's throats, and Alexis is just standing in the background, not doing a damn thing, while your children pretty much kind of tear each other apart emotionally, and you're just not doing anything. Like, you're the fucking parent. I don't understand. Like, that just boggles me. And, I thought about it for a while, even yesterday, and it continued today, and I'm like, so you're just not going to say anything? And, it pretty much left off yesterday. So, Sam was pretty much blaming Christina for being caught up in DOD. And Christina kind of brought up some points about how, when Christina was like, listen, you are sneaking off, doing this, sneaking off with Jason, and knowing that you're not supposed to be together, knowing it's going to violate your parole anyway, and you do this because you guys love adrenaline. You live for the fucking danger. It makes it hotter when you see each other, And she said something that really must have struck a nerve with Sam. She said that Jason will die for you, but he won't live for you. And she pretty much explains that, you don't like safety. You don't like being safe. And Sam was like, all I ever wanted was nothing but to be safe. And, Christina was like, listen, you only wanted that when you were with Drew. When Drew was just like, he was out in the mob or whatever, you were fine. But the minute Jason came back into your life, it's pretty much ride or die. And to be fair, she had a point. She really had a fucking point. When she was with Drew, she was sitting there talking about, oh, I'm not the girl that, likes to ride on the back of Harley motorcycles and stuff like that anymore. I'm very safe and about my kids and stuff like that. And that went out the window when Jason came back. When Jason came back, she was willing to risk her parole, being sent back to jail so many times just to sit there and try to sneak away to be with Jason. So that was the thing, Basically, Christina was like, listen, if y'all had drama and stuff like that, day to day, your whole thing, just your relationship wouldn't work. Your relationship is built off of danger. And then she was pretty much there saying that, think about it. When Jason's not with you, what is he usually doing? He's with my dad. He's with Carly. He's always with Carly and my dad cleaning up their messes. How often is he with you if it's not for like fucking danger and shit? And that's... One sec. And that's pretty much what set Sam off. Was the fact that, they couldn't handle a day-to-day normal average 9 to 5 just coming to work or whatever life, that they need to have something in their lives, they need some sort of danger or suspense or whatever, and without that, what is Jason usually doing? He's with Carly, he's with Sonny, either doing a hit or cleaning up Carly's messes. That Sam isn't enough for Jason on a day-to-day basis. And that's what really struck a nerve in Sam. But to be fair, Sam has been asking for that for a long time. And it's crazy because they both had those feelings and those thoughts. And it just took one incident. And it's crazy because they're going back and forth, and Molly's like, well, Christina, that's being mean, that's being harsh, and Alexa's like, yeah, you're right, that's being mean, that's being harsh. So it was like, why are... Okay, I can give Molly for picking sides, but you're the fucking mother, you're the parent. How about instead of you trying to pick sides and sit there and say, well, Christina, you're wrong about this, or Sam, you're wrong about this, just stop the whole fucking thing. But okay, I digress. But yeah, they just really kind of lay into each other for like a good hour. Like, the whole hour is literally spent when those scenes are there. It's just Christina and Sam going at it. And that was pretty much the takeaway that I got from it. that's what really struck a nerve. And to be honest, I gonna kind of agree with Christina. Um, but let's move on. So Franco and Ava talk, and Franco starts psychoanalyzing Ava because Franco's like, "Why are you with Nicholas? You're not happy. I doubt you're probably having sex with him. You're not happy, and you're crying. What do you want to be with him for?" And Ava's like, "Money." Franco's like, "You have money." Ava's like, "Yeah, but he has more money and I want his money." And then Franco is like, "Listen, the only reason why you're with him is because you're punishing yourself. You are punishing yourself for what happened with Kiki because, Nicholas was like, basically saying that you drove Kiki out of your life and it's a good thing that Carly's there because you are a terrible mother." And so Franco's pretty much just like, you're pretty much, you're doing this to torture yourself. This is why you're in this loveless marriage. This is why you are taking, the abuse from him. And this is why, he basically said, it's easier for you to wake up and plot some sort of different revenge on Nicholas than to deal with your grief and responsibility of what happened with Kiki. And that's pretty much what it came down to, and it was fucking true. And of course, Ava was sitting there saying, what's going on with you? And Franco was like, I heard Elizabeth, but also I don't want to be known as just the bad boy and stuff like that. To sell paintings and stuff. And, because they were arguing and pretty much while Franco was psychoanalyzing Ava was like, "Listen, why don't you stop doing that? Why don't you stop helping me and just be the psycho that you used to be?" And Franco kind of took issue with that. Franco was like, "Listen, I'm not that person anymore. And what I did, even though I had a tumor, knock on wood, even though I had a tumor or whatever, it was pretty much, it doesn't excuse what I did. And I still have to sit there and live with the faces and people that I've hurt." And that's where he gets into the whole Elizabeth was upset about what you said, and that's how they got into the argument. And Ava was like, "Listen, you're talented, but your talent isn't enough," and that's just the fucking truth of the matter. Scandal sells, so I'm not trying to do this to hurt you, I'm just trying to do this to help you. And so you talk and stuff like that, and that's pretty much the majority of the conversation. Is Franco is sitting there trying to help Ava, and Ava, even though she didn't like being psychoanalyzed, because let's be honest, no one does, she admitted, "You know what, Franco, you're right." And they kind of just dropped the subject as far as Nicholas, like getting away from like pretty much Franco's like, "Listen, you need to get away from Nicholas." He just kind of drops the subject. And on the other side of town, Nicholas and Elizabeth talk. And at first, Elizabeth is upset with Nick because of everything that he did. But then Nicholas is like, "Hey, listen, I have a second chance with Spencer." Now, here's the part that just bothered me, and I'm pretty sure it will bother any person. Any parent. It will bother any parent during the scene. Because Nicholas is like, "Listen, Spencer's gonna let me back in his life, but there's a catch. I have to leave Ava. Now, if I leave Ava, I lose 90% of our wealth." And Liz is like, "That's kind of a no-brainer, because you get to kick this terrible person out of your life, and you get a chance to reconnect with Spencer." Now, Nicholas pulls some shit out of his ass that I am still just like, wow. So Nicholas pretty much says that for Spencer's sake, not his own, but for Spencer's sake, I'm going to choose to keep the money, because Spencer grew up with money. He doesn't know how to live without money. He doesn't know how to live an extravagant lifestyle. Now, Liz is like, "All right, you're probably, it's not going to be super poor. Probably she'll let you keep some of it, like 10% or whatever. And Nicholas is like, well, that's not enough. But Spencer, Spencer is accustomed to living a certain lifestyle, and Spencer wouldn't want it that way. He would want to keep his inheritance. Now, Elizabeth is like, hey, listen, you don't know what a teenager is going to want. Why don't you call him an ass? At one point, and I'm not joking, before she got to that point, she was like, okay, so all you have to do is to get back to Spencer is to call him up right now and say yes. Here, do it. I dare you. And of course he didn't do it, and I was like, wow. You want to sit there and claim that you're, I have to tell you the truth, what it comes down to is you want to sit there and claim that you're a great father, and you did all this to Spencer. No, you did this for yourself because you are a selfish jackass. And it's more important for you to have money than for you to actually have your son in your life. And that's the takeaway that I get. I mean, yeah, they talked about some other stuff. They talked about, what Franco said to Elizabeth as far as not being a real painter. And yes, somewhere deep down inside, Nicholas is still actually somewhat of a decent person. Because Nicholas is like, listen, if you would have had the time and support that you needed, you would have ran circles around Franco and his art. And to be honest, I don't know about that, but from what I've seen, she's really fucking good. She's talented. And she did actually have a gift. But life got in the way, and that's just what happened. But he was right. And Liz was like, you know what, maybe I'm just being too sensitive. And Nicholas said something along the lines of, that's what it takes to be a good artist, is to be able to put yourself out there. Is to be able to put all yourself out there. And I know no one better than you to be able to do that. Or something along those lines. It was actually genuinely fucking nice. It was so nice that Liz was like, oh, there's still a part of you in there that's actually good. That used to be my childhood friend. And so towards the end of the conversation, Liz is like, they talk about almost being friends and stuff like that. But Liz, at this point, is starting to warm up to Nicholas. And she even drops the whole subject about how you are choosing money over your own damn son. That's how nice of a fucking compliment that he said, that she had a beautiful soul and that, your paintings is going to shine through that. People are going to recognize it. So don't sit there and take what Franco says as not being a real artist. It was nice. I don't know exactly how true that was in the art world, but it was nice. It was so nice to think that Liz is starting to warm up to Nicholas. And the final part in this recap is Carly and Nina. Now, for a while, I suspected that Nell was going to play Nina, was going to give her the sob story that she needed. Carly warned Nina about this. She warned her about this. And then towards the end, when Carly comes to the room and is like, do you have any dirt on her? And Nina's like, no, everything, she's been exemplary, she's been excellent, and this, that, and the third. And Carly's just like, you stupid. She's playing you, didn't she? She finally got to you. And that's where the whole thing sets off. Because Carly's like, yo, listen, she starts giving her all these different examples of how Nell is a bad person. And while I was watching it, during the commercial breaks, I was sitting there thinking, I can't believe that I'm actually going to defend Nina. I didn't think it was going to be a day that I really was going to defend Nina. Or that much fucking Nell, to an extent. So, now, Nina was like, well, you know what? Because she started sitting there saying, well, what if Michael agreed to share custody? What if, it's going to be the benefit for both of them? The benefit of Wiley to actually have both of her parents in her life, just like Valentine and Lulu. Now, first of all, we all know that's wrong. Hell, even Carly knows that's wrong, because as much as, hell, I think even fucking Nina to some extent knew that that's wrong, because as much as Valentine, as shitty things as Valentine has done, and as much judgmental, like self-righteous as Lulu been, they both still love their daughter. But Nell isn't like that. And the thing is, Nina was like, she had a bad upbringing, She doesn't know anything else but to do those fucking bad things. She never actually had anybody in her life to give her a chance. And you know what? I gotta sit there and say, between those two going back and forth, I felt like a lot of times Carly undermined her argument in this episode. More times than I can count. She said it more. She said it to Sonny. She said it to Jason. She said it to Michael. That her and Nell are so much alike. Everything that a lot of the things that Nell has done coming into town, it's the same things that Carly's done. They've both lied, they've both schemed, they've both, got pregnant by rich and prominent families. And hell, both of them have in some sort of way used their child to kind of get a better leg up in that society of where they are. Carly with the fucking quartermaids. And she said that, not even that long ago, she said that to, I think, Jason. Because she was sitting there saying, you know what, I could have turned out just like Nell. But I had Jason in my life to sit there and pull me back myself and kind of, believe in me to be a better person, and made me want to be a better person, and made me want to be a better parent. And that's the argument right there. Nell never had that. Nell never actually had anyone that was going to stand by her, good, bad, the difference. She's never had that. So she's only known how to be one fucking way. Carly's sister says, well, she's not capable. She doesn't know how to receive love. She doesn't understand the concept of that. Jack said that multiple times. But, again, she's never actually had anyone like Jason to stand by her, regardless good or bad, and to want to be a better person. And Jason shaped her life moving forward. Nell never had that. And I think that's what Nina was sitting there saying. And I gotta be honest, she was right. Now, yes, Carly is mad because of all the current things that Nell has done. And she is so mad about that is blinding her to the fact that they're so much alike that she doesn't know how to do anything else except for be a terrible person. Now, yes, Carly has she's valid in her points because Nell is a toxic person. Nell is a toxic person, and she will be toxic to that fucking child. But Nina's right. If she actually has somebody good in her life to inspire her to be a better person, who knows? So they're going back and forth. And Carly says something that I can't believe came out of her mouth. She basically says, you're giving Nell a chance because, you're giving her the benefit of the doubt, this, that, and the third. But the thing is, you've never been a real mother. When she said that, I was like, wow. Let's put it this way. It was so bad, even Jax was just like, that was... Like, the look in his face just described it. And to be honest, you know how I felt really bad for? Was Jax. I felt bad for Jax because he is dating Nina, but he was with Carly. He has a child by Carly. And now he is literally stuck in the middle between Carly and Nina. And although he does side with Carly because he's seen how she is firsthand, he still feels bad for siding with Carly more than Nina. Um, because Nina's a good person, but she's siding with the enemy. And the sad thing is that maybe in some sort of way, maybe subconsciously, I think that he also, to some extent, he understands what Nina is basically saying. Now, he doesn't agree with her, but he understands it. He is looking at it from a logical point of view, and Carly is looking at it from an emotional point of view. And I think that's where this whole thing just fucking goes. But the fact that she said that, the fact that she was like, you were never a real mother, it was just like, wow. Now, granted, when the fucking episode came back, she was like, listen, she tried to clean up her mess, okay? There was no other way to put it. She was basically snipped to say, hey, wait, if you had a chance to be a good mother, if you had a chance to be a mother, you would have been an amazing mother because you have those qualities. But now doesn't. And, you know, again, they go back and forth. I'm not gonna lie. The minute that she said what she said that was really fucking hurtful, that's when Nina was like, I had support for you, but now I'm gonna side with Nell. You know? The fact that Carly cut her so deep that she's not doing this out of spite. Somewhat. But she's more just like, this is strengthening the fact that I believe that Nell can actually change and be a good person. So, Carly, you just gave her a fucking supporter on her side. Good job. And the whole part about her testifying against Nell, you fucked that up. So good job. And in the previews, pretty much Carly was like, listen, she may actually win. If she can get Nina to side with her, she may be able to get the judge to side with her. And to be honest, I kind of gotta agree. Now, there's a little small thing where Nell is sitting there talking to her lawyer, and you know, they go back and forth, talking about strategy and stuff like that. And towards the end of the conversation, I can't remember, Martin Gray. Gray was just like, listen, you need to find somebody that's going to be on your side. You need to find somebody who's going to be an emergency contact in case something happens to you. And basically, he was like, you have no family. You don't really have any friends. You need to find some. And Nell was like, well, you're a lawyer. Pull up your bag of tricks. Gray was like, I'm good. I'm actually really good. But there's certain things even I can't do. You need to find a character witness. And there comes Nina. The whole strategy thing was just kind of almost non-important. Because at the end of the day, he basically said you need to find a character witness. And he did. And she did. It was kind of funny because, you know, Gray was like, so do you have anybody? Because, okay, so now it's they're talking about, hey, why don't you use the fact that Sasha cheated on him to be, you know, basically they're saying that Wiley is going to have a good stable home because he can't maintain a good relationship. And I'm like, wow, that is petty. And I don't see how that have anything to do with the custody hearing. And Martin was like, well, if I do that, then they're going to sit there and talk about, you know, your past relationships. You know, the guy that you practically killed and you admitted to, you pled guilty to. So let's not use baggage from relationships to strengthen your case because it ain't looking good for you. And that's the fucking truth. And it was funny because he was like, so do you have any boyfriends that isn't dead? And I did fucking laugh, because it's true. Hell, they're gonna sit there and testify that you tried to kill Michael, so let's not bring up past relationships. Let me just pause it real quick. Yeah, so that's gonna do it for this episode. Well, this recap of GH. Listen, I really want to sit there and thank anyone and everyone, guys, girls, for just watching these recaps. I really do enjoy doing them, and I apologize that they came out so late yesterday. It's coming out a little bit late today because I got out of work a little bit late. But yeah, so just moving forward, Mondays is going to be a little bit later than usual. And if you don't want to, watch my review, I understand it does come out a little bit later. Definitely hit up Brock TV. Another great guy, does excellent reviews, and yeah, dude's solid. And I'm not gonna lie, he kind of inspired me a little bit to actually do the GH reviews because I watched his reviews and I was like, you know what, I watched General Hospital. Maybe I should try him. So yeah, great guy. Definitely check him out on Mondays if you don't feel like waiting for my reviews. My reviews is usually gonna be 9 o'clock. Usually, I know yesterday was a little bit later, but yeah. So moving forward, Mondays is gonna be later, but throughout the rest of the week, it's gonna be business as usual. So thank you for watching my recap. I really appreciate it, and be safe. Have a great day, good night, depending on when you're watching this video, and I will catch you in the next recap.